with it, and if it
Yeah.
sucks, it sucks. All right, week 18. Ghost, how we doing today, buddy?
We're doing good, man. Week 18. It's an interesting slate, to say the least. My thoughts go out to all those still playing in season-long leagues. I don't know how you guys are doing it this week, but I know some of my buddies were messaging me saying, "Hey, do I start Jeff Driscoll or Gabbert?" Or I was like, "Oh man, I don't know how you're still going in that league." But for those of you that are doing it, congratulations for making your finals and good luck.
I mean, as long as like everybody's like, that's the issue though. I don't think every team is going to be equally impacted, like, because you got guys that have like Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb that wrote that stack for the last couple of weeks and are now in a fantasy championship or whatever. Maybe it's a 2-week matchup. I respect the 2-week matchup, but it does suck. Like, you lose guys. Like, who's all out today? There's like Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, if you had him, you had a hell of a season, probably, no matter what.
Kyron Williams won me my
Kyron,
league.
yeah. I mean, fuck. That's like, that part sucks. Like, what if you're the team that has both, like CMC and Kyron? Because Kyron could have been he probably was a waiver wire guy. So, yeah, Godspeed to all out those playing. Hopefully, you're on the good side of the variance for all the players sitting. Oh, thanks, Jay. Yeah, I'm going no hat today. Going to change it up, but let's talk about Week 18 real quick. I got some notes here. The teams that are locked in the playoffs, locked into their seeding, doesn't matter what they do today, to my knowledge, based on reviewing this, is Kansas City, San Francisco, Cleveland, and Baltimore. So some teams that are locked in the playoffs playing for seeding, so they want to win. Obviously, Dallas, the Rams, but it seems like they don't really care. I don't think they have much to gain, assuming who would matter.
They need a lot to go their way. Like, it's not in their hands. I think that's why McVay was saying that Stafford, Kupp, and Kyron are all not playing, because they need
Green Bay.
Yeah,
would they need Green Bay and Detroit and Seattle to all lose?
I think it was more like, obviously I'm not Sean McVay, and it's not like I have the guy's personal cell number, but I feel like it's more the fact that Detroit is still playing everyone. I think that was the key for them.
Yeah, either way. So the Rams are sitting their starters. So I think they're going to try to get Puka that record for rookie receptions. I think he needs 4 catches or 5 catches to get that, And then Philly, it sounds like they were semi-playing to win. I know they technically can still do that, but Dallas is probably going to beat Washington, so I don't know how much Philly's going to lay on it. Detroit, sounds like they're playing the starters. Who knows? Looking at the prop market, I mean, that's a pretty good tell on how confused bookmakers are this week, and they're just not posting lines for a lot of these players. So that's another good reason to kind of stay away from those games. Or if you think you have an edge, you know these teams quite well. Like, if you're a local and you know who the backups are, you know who's like excited to get, first team reps, do that. And then Miami. So that game's going to be awesome. Miami, Buffalo, obviously, we all know the impact there, but that's not on the DraftKings slate. But for some reason, it is on the main slate on FanDuel. Yeah, Percent. This week on the Better Golf podcast, I put out a cash lineup. I think I'm going to do that every single week, or my head-to-head lineup. And if you want to just send me a custom invite or whatever, Percent did. It's going to be close. I don't know where. What's our score, Percent? I'm live on the air. Let's know. I know we both have Cam Davis, and he's been useless. And I think we both have Scotty, so it's more of a 4-on-4. So I need Jordan Spieth to go nuts today. I think he's one shot back of the lead, and that's my outright ticket too. So I don't think Percent had Jordan Spieth, but let us know the difference. That is fun, and if you guys are interested in doing that for golf, let me know. But first game, Tampa Bay, Carolina. They are in a must-win spot here. So is Jacksonville. I guess so is Minnesota, but Minnesota would need a lot to go their way. New Orleans, I think they're winning. They're in, right? Because they're playing Atlanta, so that makes a lot of sense. Seattle, I think they win and they're in, correct? Or does Green Bay need to do something for that?
I think they need Green Bay to lose.
Green Bay to lose. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Seattle needs a lot to happen. All of these games, that means something.
Seattle needs Green Bay to lose because Seattle doesn't have the tiebreaker, right? So they need Green Bay to lose, and even if the Rams lose, that's fine. They hold the tiebreaker over both those teams anyways. So,
great question here by Sean. Are you messing with the player incentives at all? I never really have. It's always been a big article for a lot of people in week 18. To me, I think it may help like early market prop betting, but the books know this stuff too. But maybe if like you had Puka Nacua and the 4.5 reception was like closer to even money in the beginning of the week, then sure, like go on that because McVay's going to do it for him. But I don't know. To me, I think like winning, like for me in DFS, I'm going after teams that have something to play for the most part.
Yeah.
Unless there's just like dirt cheap value that I think I can uncover, and I will talk about maybe one team that I think I have that edge on. But again, if they absolutely shit the bed today, I get that, and that's why it's a GPP lineup. But for me, I'd rather just go after the teams that have something to play for, and those teams aren't going to force feed one single player just to get like some sort of record. We saw it yesterday. Who was short of their
Dalton Schultz got 250K.
One catch, right?
Yeah, he got 250K, and he was one catch short for another 250K. And that was the only thing that I was going to bring up with player incentives, because I fully understand that as you guys are watching and or listening to this, it's probably the most unconventional approach in regarding player incentives. I look at player incentives this week with teams that have absolutely nothing to play for, because those are guys that no matter what the score is in the Rams game, Puka's going out there and trying to get his 4 for 40, and then he's coming off the field. Whereas yesterday with Dalton Schultz, I was hesitant because the Texans needed a win to get into the playoffs, right? So it's not, oh, hey, let's just force feed Dalton Schultz into the flat, because they have a football game to win, right? So it's not so much looking at teams that need something to play for in regards to player incentives. For me, it's the complete opposite. It's guys like Puka going out there 4 for 40 coming off the field. Great. But I highly doubt you'll find an over-under on Puka Nacua today that's sitting at 3.5, because that would just be as close to, there's no such thing as free money in this industry, but that would be as close as free money as it gets, right? So that's the thing for me. I stay away from it in regards to DFS, because I want to play teams that need to win to be able to get into the playoffs.
I'm with you, man. That's pretty much my thoughts. But Sean's question about D-Hop. I think D-Hop, it's a divisional rivalry. If Tennessee wins, Jacksonville's not in. I think Tennessee gives them all they can handle. Tannehill's kind of playing for like the next stage of his career. So I do think that D-Hop's a pretty good play. I'm sure he'll get force fed. I don't know if they're going to just like try to mandate he gets his 2 touchdowns. And obviously they need to get in the red zone often to do that. But Jacksonville's defense has been bad. I do like D-Hop a lot. And looking at his player props too, like this is something I always like to keep an eye on. Kind of just like jot them down every single week. D-Hop's player prop is 66 yards receiving. So I haven't seen him, like he's been in that 58 to 59 range. So like the books are expecting another catch and another, 7-8 yards. Obviously that would come with the other catch based on his ADOT, but that's a pretty healthy number for D-Hop and a guy that's 6,100 on DraftKings and right around probably sub 10% owned. I'm okay with D-Hop for sure.
So that's the thing with D-Hop. I'm not going to know every single one of these numbers by heart, but I figured a lot of you guys would have questions regarding them. So don't quote me on any of these, but I'm pretty sure D-Hop, it's 7 for 61 that he needs. 7 receptions for 61 yards, which
I know touchdowns are in there too. If he gets 2 touchdowns, he hits a big
I think
one.
If he gets 2 touchdowns, it's another 500K or $1 million or something. For me, the touchdowns, it's still Tennessee aerial game. So that for me is always worrisome when it comes to touchdowns at all, let alone throwing it to DeAndre Hopkins. That's going to be double covered in the red zone. But again, in regard to receptions and yards, which is king on DraftKings, no pun intended, because of the reception bonus and everything like that. Don't quote me on any of these, but I'm pretty sure DeAndre Hopkins is 7 for 61 or something in the vicinity of those numbers. So the prop market is adjusting to that, because most people are just going to go and hammer the over, and it wouldn't surprise me if his reception prop, I haven't looked at it yet, but wouldn't surprise me if it's going to open up at 5.5 or 6.5 there.
I'd put it at 6.5.
Yeah.
If not 7 flat, just entice the action and pray for the under.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
All right. Moving on to the games here. Or actually, let's go position by position again. Actually, let's go games, because I think that we're just going to skip some completely. Yeah. Tampa Bay, Carolina. Tampa Bay is going to play for, all they can handle here. Are you into the most expensive running back on the DraftKings slate this week that is playing of Rachaad White?
I want to say yes, but I'm in on Baker. You want to talk about player incentives? It's both
he's got a bunch,
literally and figuratively for Baker. He does have a ton of incentives that would kick in if the Bucs make the playoffs. But more importantly, he's still, and it's crazy to say because he did have a good season, right? Whether you're a Baker fan or not, you got to recognize his game this year, and he definitely has picked it up, right? Versus what he was doing in Cleveland. And like, for me, I think Baker really takes over this game, and especially against the defense in Carolina that the Bucs know very well. And it's going to be able to be a game for Baker Mayfield to once again like solidify the season that he's had and prove that he's worth a contract, and for the Bucs to not worry about trying to find a quarterback of the future. I have a couple lineups with Baker, and he is one of my 3 max quarterbacks there. So for me, I'm more so on the passing attack, and there's a ton of stud wide receivers that I want in my lineup today, believe it or not. Despite all these teams either not playing for much or anything like that. Yeah, so Jay, I saw that you posted his prop bet. Hopefully you don't mush me on this one. I'm just kidding when I say that every time. But for me, I'm playing Baker, and I'm absolutely stacking him with Mike Evans. That's the approach that I'm taking to this game. I'm not playing any Carolina guys. I have no interest in that offense whatsoever. But I do have a couple lineups either double stacked with Baker with Godwin, or I just went Baker and Mike Evans. You don't have to overcomplicate your stacks this week, guys. It's a pretty sloppy week.
I think that's a good bet. Going through the last 4 games that Mike Evans has had against Carolina, 162 receiving yards, 207 receiving yards, 96 receiving yards, and 89 receiving yards in a must-win game against the Bucs secondary is getting or not the Bucs. I'm sorry, the Panthers secondary is getting respectably better each week, but 62. Let's ride. I'm with Jay on that one. I like that a lot. On the Carolina side, anything you like there?
No, I'm not forcing it. I haven't. No,
what about?
I haven't done it.
80 Model likes DJ Chark a little bit. It didn't hate Terrace Marshall at min price, but DJ Chark with no. Who's our boy that we've been playing lately? Mingo is on the IR. So DJ Chark, some value there. Again, Carolina's going to try to win. I mean, Bryce Young has to do something to raise his stock for next year, because it just seems like that pick is terrible, especially with CJ Stroud playing like he is. Cleveland, Cincinnati next game. Are you in to the chalk of all chalk, Pierre Strong today? 4K minimum on DraftKings.
No.
I'm going to be out. I think that's going to be my stance today. I don't know if it's a good one. Just letting you know, if you're playing cash, play Pierre Strong, play Jordan Mason. I don't really like playing cash in week 18. I'd rather just play GPP. So
that's
for me,
bold. Yeah.
For me, I will play Pierre Strong in cash. I will play Jordan Mason in cash, and then pay up big time at wide receivers. But I think to get different, you just pay up at running back. So guys like Rachaad White, who are going to get 25 touches against a terrible run defense against Carolina, are sub 10%, because all these value backups are getting a lot of ownership and GPPs. I'm just going to go the other way. Rustling. Christian Kirk, it sounds like he was not going to go. I think the injury report will drop at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. So if you guys have that, but from what I was reading this morning, I was trying to get more of a better vibe for where my lineups are going to go. Sounded like Christian Kirk was going to be out. So I do like Evan Ingram a lot, but we'll get to that game. We just gave our thoughts on Strong and Mason. I don't think Mitchell's going to get a ton of run, but again, this is me like trying to speculate. Like TDP's still on that team too. I don't know. I don't want to just jump into the mind of Kyle Shanahan, because how many times we have gotten him wrong. All I know is that offense is still going to be I'm just going to say my lineup, Ghost. I'm playing Sam Darnold in the passing attack for San Francisco. I'm not going to play this 30%, 40% owned Jordan Mason. I'm just going to leverage that and play the passing game. I'm going to play Sam Darnold, and I'm debating on what receiver. Right now it's going to be Ronnie Bell. But Chris Conley is going to get a lot of play. I don't think I can play Chris
I'm
Conley.
playing Ronnie
I'd rather play
I don't have the stomach to play Sam Darnold, but I 110% respect it. That's the way that I approach this.
It helps me pay up.
You got to take shots, and it helps you pay up for these. There's
good running backs.
There's good running backs. There's ways to get different on this slate, and the thing is with if the chalk of all chalk is going to be pairing Jordan Mason with Pierre Strong, you're all going to be playing the same wide receivers anyways.
Yeah,
it's who else are you paying up for at the wide receiver position besides guys that we're going to talk about in a little bit? So it's like that. That's why I don't want to play Pierre Strong. And in regards to Jordan Mason, look, the guy's a stud. I really like his game.
See Auburn, dude?
Is he an Auburn?
I don't know.
He's an Auburn guy?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I actually don't. I'm pretty good usually where people
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. Okay. But I think we see TDP in this game. I'm not saying he's going to be featured. Jordan, like, because it wouldn't surprise me in the playoffs if I'm not saying Jordan Mason's going to get a ton of carries, but man, Eli Mitchell is just so banged up all the time, and Eli Mitchell is a really good back. But at the same time, it's based on what happened to San Fran last year, man. Like, they're going to be able to run Christian McCaffrey into the ground as they always do, and he's been really good at staying healthy this year, and I'm hoping he does up until the Super Bowl because I do think San Fran makes it. But it's just Jordan Mason looks really good out there, right? So I don't know if Shanahan's going to want to risk injuring Jordan Mason in a game that means virtually nothing to them.
Yeah, so I mean, keep an eye on their.
That's my only.
When do they have to activate TDP? Because he's on the practice squad right now, and there's another.
It would be by 2 o'clock your time, I think. 2 o'clock your time, 3 o'clock my time.
There we go. 3 running backs.
Yeah, that would that would make sense to me. I don't see a scenario where, again, not like you said, neither one of us are Kyle Shanahan.
We don't know. Exactly.
We don't know.
It's like to play a 45% owned punt running back in a situation we think, but we don't know.
And would it really surprise you if Jordan Mason got 5 to 6 carries today? It wouldn't surprise me in the league.
I'm sure he'll get 10 to 15, which is great for the price. But
that's great.
He's not the goal line back or something. I don't know.
I don't know. That's the only thing.
The hell with that. Cleveland, Cincinnati. So anything else? Is there anybody you like in that game, Jerome? I kind of like both defenses, but Cincinnati's defense seems like they just quit. But yeah, Pierre Strong, I think it's a much safer situation that he is going to get most of the run. But again, what's the upside? I don't know. I'd rather play, like Go said, if you take all these punt running backs, you're playing all the same wide receivers. I'd rather get different at the wide receiver position and play guys like, Aaron Jones, going to be a 3-down back all game long in a must-win game. I know it's a tough defense against Chicago Bears, but I'd rather have a dual threat running back that's going to catch passes, never leave the field, and he's a goal line back in Aaron Jones. I think similarly to Tony Pollard, but we'll get to that game. Minnesota, Detroit. Sorry, I'm used to going position by position. Now we're going.
The only guy I was going to mention in the Cincy game.
No T. Higgins, right? He is out.
He's out, and I know some people will play Tyler Boyd at 4,300 on DK, and even Jamar Chase is really cheap at 7,300.
Yeah, not bad.
If you need a pivot, this is a guy that I'm more than willing to take a shot on because I don't have my GPP exposures in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be way up there, if not number one. My pivot to that 4K range up to Jordan Mason at 4,800 is going to be Chase Brown at 46.
Okay, I like that.
That's the guy that I'm pivoting towards. If I don't want to change my lineup construction and I don't want to play Jordan Mason, which is exactly the case, I'm playing Chase Brown at 4,600. If you guys want to take shots on him with me versus Jordan Mason chalk.
I'm paying up a running back, but I don't mind that at all. Minnesota, Detroit. Any love for that game at all? Johnny Munt, going to be cheap, 3K. Dude, I had me and my buddy. So I was in our fantasy championship back home, my main league. I did make it. I don't know how I made it, but I made it. It's because remember this San Fran Baltimore game? I advanced when Lamar took a knee. I won by 0.2. My buddy was just ruthlessly upset, and he would have won the championship had he advanced. But yeah, I won on a kneel down, so that's pretty cool. About time variance went my way in that league. I haven't won since the original year, 13 years ago when we were freshmen in college, but took it home. So that was pretty big. But my buddy and I, who I was playing in the championship, he came down. We were pounding beers all day and having the matchup. It was pretty tight. I ended up, he needed like 25 standard league points. We still play standard, don't ask, but it just is what it is from Aaron Jones. And I was feeling, pretty confident. And then we put in the same game parlay. I was like, hey, let's just get on the same side for something. We took Johnny Munt, anytime touchdown, Bo Melton, anytime touchdown. Both of those hit, and they were like the biggest juicers in that parlay. And then we had Jaron Hall overpassing, and of course he gets hurt. There was one other one in there that didn't hit. I think it was Justin Jefferson receptions, but it's like those were our easy ones, our layup ones, and the hard ones hit. It's like son of a bitch. But Johnny Munn's going to be the route runner out there. I don't think I love the situation, but Nick Mullins is a guy that abuses the tight end. That offense is something that abuses the tight end. Justin Jefferson is like 100-yard receiving prop, 25% owned. This is what you're talking about, though. Like, I will not say anything bad about Justin Jefferson, but you play these punt running backs because you're trying to jam in Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb at the same time, pretty much, right? What the field's doing.
It's exactly that, right? It's like we could talk about these wide receivers and their respective games, but just a quick note. It's like, okay, well, AJ Brown, we already spoke about the Eagles. If Dallas is up 35-0 at halftime, did the Eagles let the foot off the gas? I don't know, right? Like, it's in my mind, they should keep things going the way that they've. And no offense to Brian, if you're out there, I know you're a diehard Eagles fan. I know there's a lot of Eagles fans.
He's in the chat.
Like, look, like the way that they've looked recent weeks, it is in their best interest to play their guys and get things going before the playoffs here, right? Because there's only so many times that I want to hear Jalen Hurts at a press conference saying, "Oh, it's a good lesson that we learned today," because it's been 4 or 5 weeks in a row that you're learning lessons. I need to see something out of this team, right? So in my mind, even though Dallas is up 35-0 at half, let's just say, Philly shouldn't take the foot off the gas. But would it surprise me? I mean, Philly has nothing to play for at that point, right? So do we see AJ Brown in the second half? He only needs 1 quarter, let alone a half, to do damage. But it probably leads you to the same duo over and over again. You're playing CeeDee Lamb, you're playing Justin Jefferson. Are you willing to take a chance on Amon-Ra at $100
I'd be out on
more?
Amon-Ra, but I'd rather have AJ Brown, like you say. He can get it done in a quarter at least. They're gonna play a half minimum.
You're gonna be like, if you're playing Pierre Strong and Jordan Mason, you're all playing the exact same wide receivers. That's my issue with that lineup construction. It's that if this was a week 16 slate where we didn't have Monday Night Football and you have all these studs on the slate, I'd say, okay, yeah, there's going to be low owned guys all over the place. But at this point, you're all playing the exact same 2 to 3 guys, and that's more my issue with that lineup construction.
I'm with it. All right, moving on, and probably moving on again, right? The Jets and the Patriots. I think the game total is in the 20s. Atlanta, New Orleans. Alvin Kamara has been ruled out. Russing, we'll get to the question on the Eagles backfield shortly. It sounds like Swift is going to go. So I wouldn't expect anything different from the Philly fuckery that we see every single week. We're going to see some Gainwell. I'm sure we'll see a couple snaps with Boston Scott, but I'm sure Swift is going to be their lead guy today. It sounds like he was good to go and was just precautionary out for illness most of the week. I like Chris Olave a ton. I think his ownership's going to be up there, 6,700, probably 25% owned. But without Alvin Kamara, his player props through the roof too. 5.5 catches, 72 yards. Let me see what the 80 model has for him.
Kamara is confirmed ruled out?
Yeah, he is out.
Okay.
I had him for 6 catches for 71 yards, so pretty much right on market there too. But it's 6,700. I like that. Jawan Johnson is going to play. I know if some of you guys were looking into him, he's been on fire. I'm probably not going to chase it. I'd rather just go to Olave, even though Olave always seems to be a letdown for me. But it is what it is. Jamal Williams then, 5,200. Does that do much for you? Like, is that a good pivot off of Mason, or is it just more Taysom Hill?
No, I can't. I think I'll just leave it at that. I will not be playing Williams.
I don't mind Jamal, dude.
I don't mind him. No, I definitely don't mind it. It's just, if you told me, am I increasing stonks in Jamal Williams, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I don't mind him.
Who's the benefactor then for you with Alvin Kamara? Does it help the passing game, or does it just go more unpredictable shit with combination of Jamal and obviously Taysom Hill?
Exactly that. I think it's gonna be, unfortunately, because it absolutely drives me nuts, I think it's gonna be more so Taysom. I think you're gonna be seeing, I guess I could call it double tight end with Taysom and Jawan Johnson, if that's even a thing. But again, I feel like it's going to be more shenanigans like that than it would be Jamal Williams at the goal line.
Does Bijan Robinson finally break the slate?
You're killing me, man.
No, I'm not touching him. I'm done, dude. I had to sweat him out in season long too. And
tell you what,
I have Tyler Algier on the bench. Is how scoring in the last 3 weeks pisses me right off. But no, I'm not playing any Falcon today. But they're going to play
the Falcons. If the Falcons change their coaching staff in the offseason,
what if the Falcons win and make the playoffs?
I might it might be the first time I ever skip a playoff slate if that happens. No, I'm kidding, but I think the Saints win this game. But does Bijan break the slate, man? For all I know, it's going to be Cordarrelle Patterson getting 20 touches, knowing the way that offense is ran. But
Fair.
like, it's just look at 6,600 with everybody playing Tony Pollard. I have 0 lineups with Tony Pollard. By the way, I know we're going to get to that game, and I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit.
I'm playing Tony Pollard.
I have 0 lineups with Tony Pollard. But if you want to play Bijan over Tony Pollard, I'd be willing to say, believe it or not, as gross as this week is, I think that just sums it up that Bijan outscores Tony Pollard today.
Okay. That's interesting. All right. Nothing else in that game. Jacksonville, Tennessee. We talked about D-Hop. I don't think we need to touch more on him. I think we both think that he's a good play that's probably going to get forced out the ball. Do you have any love for Trevor Lawrence or one of my favorite running backs this week? And I might have loved him too, Travis Etienne.
So that's what I was
1% owned.
I've been jumping the gun left and right throughout the entire show for the last 30 minutes, skipping to games that we haven't talked about. And I was happy I didn't do it on the odd occasion.
I have him 2.5 points higher than any projection source out there that I'm looking at currently.
When you were mentioning Rachaad White, this is why, right? Like, this was going to be my explanation, is because I'm paying up for Travis Etienne as much as I can. Paying up by running back is the way to get different today. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I think for me, if I'm quote unquote paying up, it's not going to be to the 6K range. I want to go to the 7K range. And as much as Rachaad White is an absolute stud, and he's pissed that he got snubbed from the Pro Bowl too, I think Travis Etienne is the guy that I want in this one. I think it's going to be a very Clemson-esque combination today. I think Trevor Lawrence ends up dumping him off a few passes, especially if Christian Kirk gets ruled out. Zay Jones, I'm not sure if we have a confirmed word or not on Zay, but if it's going to be
good to go.
If it's going to be Ridley, a banged up Zay Jones, Evan Engram, who I like a ton in this game.
I like Evan Engram. Yeah,
I like Evan Engram a ton. But Trevor Lawrence, keep in mind, Trevor Lawrence is still severely hobbled on that foot, right? Like, that for me is the thing where Trevor Lawrence, I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson or prime Cam Newton or anything like that, but he can move back there, right? So with his mobility a little bit in question, I think Etienne gets involved in the passing game a little bit. I'd be surprised if there's a ton of action for anybody else in that backfield other than Etienne.
I have him for 3.5 catches. So is there a prop on that, Jay? Let us know. Dude, I love Etienne. I'm glad that you're on it too. Dude, I don't know what to.
I just got the noti. I know we don't like to do this because we're on air and we ask you guys in the comments, but this is an important notification that I did want to worth. Christian Kirk is officially inactive. So that for me is going to be like, I really like Travis Etienne in a must-win game for the Jags. I think Travis Etienne is the way to get different on the slate.
I love it.
Seems pretty crazy because name value, Jamar Chase is the exact same price as Travis Etienne, but two completely different situations.
No one's playing Travis Etienne.
No one's playing Travis Etienne. And I think that for me is going to be a good way to get different. And the red zone equity, obviously you would tell me, you got the numbers in front of you, the red zone equity there for Etienne with a hobbled Trevor Lawrence, no Christian Kirk.
It's high.
It's going to be high. And that's what I absolutely love about that situation.
Shit. Okay. Well, I did not. So this is my main lineup could go Pollard, Olave, or Etienne, D-Hop.
I think I'm taking Etienne, D-Hop.
I like it.
I think Pollard and Olave together. I really hope this is not the case, and I hope I don't mush myself with this one. But Olave always lets me down whenever I play him. I am playing him a ton today because I do like him a ton, like you were explaining, for all those reasons. Olave and Pollard together, it's like a double letdown, man. Like, I don't know. I like Etienne and D-Hop there.
All right, let's do that. All right, going into the afternoon. Let's see if we got any questions.
That's FanDuel, I assume, because Josh Allen's on the main site. Yeah, you would need to play Josh Allen on FanDuel. Yeah, this man is going to take the bull by the horns in that game. There's nobody else that matters more to his team this week than Josh Allen.
Let's do it. Seattle, Arizona. Seattle playing for everything right now. So start the quarterback position. I know Geno is going to be relatively popular, 6,100. Don't mind that price. Jay and I were talking about it, before the show here. Hard to predict this game script. I think Walker gets 20, 25 touches. I think he's an excellent play at 6,500. Issue there, Charbonnet is running a ton of routes, and he's running the 2-minute drill. I kind of like running backs again, like Aaron Jones, that is not going to leave the field on the 2-minute drill, not going to leave the field on the goal line, not going to leave the field on third down, which also who checks that box is probably Travis Etienne.
Correct.
So, all right, I'm in on Etienne. I'm going to kick out Tony Pollard.
I really hope I
don't know what the hell
lead you in the wrong direction.
No, fuck that. We don't play Tony Pollard ever.
No. And the one thing that I'll give myself credit for is that week when I said don't play Tony Pollard and I said Dak would rush for a touchdown, and I literally called that entire game script. One thing I'll say is as a very painful experience being a Cowboys fan, it's a scary situation this week for Tony Pollard. The way that he's playing, I think it's going to be aerial attack or bust for this team in the playoffs. That's just the way this team rolls. It's like that for quite some time now.
All right. Etienne, be my guy. DK Metcalf. Thoughts on DK? Sub 10%. I think it's the best matchup on the slate today other than CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah,
I'm playing DK Metcalf. He's locked in.
Where I tried to fit DK, because I don't want to. I'm 100% in on DK Metcalf. Sorry for implying that I was not in there with the hesitation. I just didn't want to say. Fine. I didn't want to say my entire lineup, but where I played DK Metcalf, and it was a perfect way to get different because I only had one punt, maybe two. I think I might have just punted DST, but I only had one punt in that lineup, and I went Baker with Mike Evans, DK, and Trey McBride. And I just stayed in that. When you first open the app and it says like you have 6,600 per position left or something like that, I think every one of my guys is like around that price range. I went ETN. I'll give 5 guys in that lineup. I went Baker, Evans, DK, Trey McBride, and ETN.
Mike Evans. I do like that lineup a lot.
That's the way that I built. That's where I played DK Metcalf in lineups where I'm not completely punting and going to the chalk of all chalk, and I'm kind of getting away from the CeeDee Lambs and the AJ Browns and all the chalk at the top of the pricing grid. So I'm kind of just floating in the middle there where it's no man's land everywhere in my lineup. I highly doubt anyone's going to be playing Baker. No one's playing Mike Evans. No one's playing DK. Trey McBride's going to be chalk, and rightfully so. It is what it is. But no one's playing ETN. Like, that's the lineup that I built. It's those 5 guys.
I kind of want to play Mike Evans now. I may. Let me get to that. All right, next game. Or anybody for Arizona other than Trey McBride you want to touch on? James Conner getting a shit ton of looks. Respectable team total, too, 22.5.
I mean, Kyler's playing for – I don't want to say he's playing for his future, right? Because
Brian, stop Arizona. I got to stop. Stop playing Thielen. Brian, we've talked about this for 2 months.
We're going to start a dialogue, Brian. We're 18 weeks into this thing now. Can't be doing that.
All right, sorry. Back to Arizona exposure for you, anybody.
I'm telling you, man, we're gonna have to start a new show like Ghosts Interventions. You're gonna be episode 1 with Atlanta Falcons. Brian's gonna be week 2 with Adam Thielen and Boston Scott everywhere. But look, in regards to this Arizona offense, I feel like it's chasing no matter where you go. No Hollywood Brown. Greg Dortch is getting absolutely peppered with targets. So like, I guess if you want to stack Kyler, it would be a relatively cheap stack to go Kyler with Dortch, McBride, and run it back with DK Metcalf. I would be 100% more than okay with that. If that was your GPP lineup, that would be a 4 p.m. only for me, or a 3 p.m. only, depending on which time zone you're in, or a 1 p.m. only, I guess. I'll include all time zones. But it would be Kyler with Trey McBride, Greg Dortch, running back with DK Metcalf.
Respect. All right, Chicago, Green Bay. I talked about my love for Aaron Jones. You have any love for Justin Fields or Jordan Love? Both relatively popular.
I'm playing Jordan Love. This is a weird stack for me. Again, I'm getting weird with it this week. I'm playing Jordan Love with Aaron Jones, and that's it. I didn't want to pair any of these wide receivers because, frankly, it could. I don't want to say I don't know where it's going because we do know where the ball is going, but it could be any one of these guys, right? Like it could be Wicks, Watson, Reed, Dobbs. It could be Kraft. It could be Aaron Jones in the flat. It could be any one of these guys, right? So, I'm playing Jordan Love with Aaron Jones, calling it a day, but I do think Green Bay absolutely keeps the foot on the gas the entire time here. They need this win badly.
Bo Melton.
And Jordan, we were talking about player incentives earlier in the show. Jordan Love has a huge incentive if they make the playoffs.
The guy's just good. I think he's a good player. So Justin Fields on the other side, you are frozen right now, Ghost. It's kind of weird, like looking at your frozen face, but I hear your voice. Any love for Justin Fields? And like, it's got to be like a big time prove-it game for him. I don't know if I'm looking into it a ton. I kind of want to play Aaron Jones in the Packers defense because all of the ownership on the Bears. Fields is probably going to be the second or third highest owned quarterback. DJ Moore is going to be very high up there in ownership, and rightfully so. The guy's on absolute fire, but I liked him last week at 1%. I'm not going to play him at 25% this week, and no one's going to play the Packers defense. They are healthy. Jair Alexander is back. I still think DJ Moore could take him with the cleaners, but 0% owned Packers defense. Looking at Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is going to be pretty popular, 20%, but a guy that's not going to leave the field. I like that combination a ton.
Yeah, I mean, look, do I think Justin Fields' situation is eerily similar to that of Kyler Murray that I was just speaking about, right? Like, I don't want to say they're playing for their career or anything like that, because whether it's in Arizona or Chicago, respectively, both Kyler Murray and Justin Fields are going to be starting somewhere next year, right? Just depends what Chicago obviously wants to do with that top pick, and Arizona, who knows if they hit the reset button as well, and they're going to have a high pick. But for me, it's, again, Justin Fields has the chance to prove to other teams that he's worth the price that Chicago is going to be asking for him in the offseason, right? If they do decide to draft Caleb Williams, they're still going to be asking for a haul for Justin Fields, right? Everyone's seen what he could do. And I think Justin Fields is a great play today. Am I willing to eat the ownership with the duo of Fields and DJ Moore? That's where I'm out, because of the fact that it's a chalk duo for me. It's Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb all over again. And no disrespect to the Bears, but they don't have the upside of Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, right? If I'm playing a chalk quarterback wide receiver combo, it's going to be Dak and CeeDee Lamb. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But Fields and DJ Moore, that for me, it's a great pairing. I think they give Green Bay a run for their money, but I just can't do it at that combined ownership because I wouldn't want to play Fields solo.
Okay. Kansas City and the Chargers. Another gross one.
There we go. I'm back.
Hey, he is back. Would you use
hit
for
the refresh
Green Bay
button. Sorry
or
for that,
Dallas steak today? What would you use? You gotta reword that, Jeff. I'm confused. If you could say that again. Any thoughts on Gabe Davis? We'll get to that game in a minute. KC and the Chargers. Anybody you like there? Sounds like a bench game for KC. Do we have? Is this Mecole Hardman coming out party? Probably not. What about Noah Gray? 2,500 on DraftKings.
Yeah, at the Stone Cold minimum, I'm absolutely cool with that. Gabbard's gonna have to throw the ball to somebody. I don't mind. This is crazy that I'm saying this, but Quinn Johnston at 4K. I feel like the Chargers.
Josh Palmer's back, I believe.
Josh Palmer is back, and the thing is, as crazy as it sounds, with the draft stock that they have invested in Quinn Johnston, I feel like he's like somewhat auditioning at this point. Like, there's a lot of good wide receivers in this draft class, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Chargers either go defense side of the ball or at the wide receiver position, just continue building, because the way that both Keenan and Mike Williams with their unfortunate injury histories. The Chargers could go wide receiver again if they don't like what they have in Quentin Johnston there. So I like both him and Alex Erickson as punt wide receivers that are not going to be overly chalk compared to the Jordan Masons and the Pierre Strongs of the slate. I'm just looking for pivots for those that don't want to come off that lineup structure where you have a 4,800 guy in Jordan Mason and a 4K min price running back in Pierre Strong, etc. Like you can switch those salaries around and go Quentin Johnson, Alex Erickson over Pierre Strong, something like that. Like I'm just looking for punt. I don't know. Like I don't know if I could really get behind the Chargers offense, but these guys are playing for something at this point, and it sucks that it's only for pride because I'd love to see this team in the playoffs, but that's just what it is.
Okay. Yeah, that game's gross to me.
Denver,
Las Vegas. You just want to skip over that one. Besides Zamir White, I mean, the guy's going to get 25 touches. If you want to ride him, I think he's a good cash play. But other than that, any love for Devontae Adams or anything like that?
No, I faded that game entirely. I played Zamir in cash, and that's it.
All right, Philly and the Giants. I know Jay is interested in Tyrod Taylor. Playing quarterbacks against the Eagles just seems to be very lucrative no matter what. Any love for this game? I have a hard time handicapping for that. I am pretty much just out. I don't mind A.J. Brown. I don't even mind DeAndre Swift at 0% ownership, but I just never get him right, so I'm probably just going to be out on that.
I was going back and forth on this game, and when I do that, I have a rule that I made for myself. It means that I'm out. So I was going back and forth. So I'm out.
Okay. He's out. There you have it. And the Rams in San Francisco. I'm playing Darnold, playing Ronnie Bell. We talked about the running back situation. On the Rams side, is there anybody you want to touch on? Ronnie Rivers value. It could be Royce Freeman, could be Zach Evans. I think Jeremy McNichols is going to be active for San Fran. So yeah, I'm out on Jordan Mason. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I think Ronnie Bell's a viable punt. It could be Chris Conley. It could be Ray McLeod. Who knows? I don't love the situation. I am playing it in GPPs. Anybody else you want to touch on in this game? I mean, Charlie Werner at tight end, 2,500. Would you rather play him or Noah Gray?
I'll take Noah Gray.
Noah Gray. Braden Willis may play too. So it's tough to decide there. All right, moving on. Again, these games are gross. Dallas, Washington. Is there anybody from Washington you want to play? Because I think for Dallas, you know who to play. If you're stacking that game, the best quarterback on the slate is Dak Prescott on DraftKings. CeeDee Lamb is obviously the best wide receiver play on DraftKings. And I think the best tight end play, I don't think it's Trey McBride. I do think it's Jake Ferguson.
Okay. It's interesting that you said that. 2 weeks off and we're still in lockstep because that is my favorite tight end in the slate is Jake Ferguson.
Great comment.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnson only needs 1,000
yards. This is comment of the day by far. By far the comment of the day. That's, oh my God, that's iconic.
Oh, great. Great stuff. All right. Anybody else on this game you want to touch on? Like Brandon Cooks, you into that? Getting weird with these stacks? I mean, Brandon Cooks has been very, very effective.
Yeah, and he has been a part of the game plan, which, again, I'm not playing Tony Pollard. I already said that earlier in the show, but I'm just emphasizing that. I'm not playing Tony Pollard anywhere. I don't feel the need to play Brandon Cooks a ton because I just went double stack with Jake Ferguson. I know it's two different positions, but Ferguson's $300 cheaper. So if you're looking at a 1-for-1 type of deal, I'll take Jake Ferguson over Brandon Cooks. You don't have to have a run back in this game, but if you are, Scary Terry is quite enticing at 5,500 there in no man's land. No one's going to play Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not playing Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I'm not. That's it's.
I wanted to, dude. I love.
That's a late slate only where I play Terry McLaurin. He's not in my main lineup. He's not going to be on any of my main slate lineups. But if you're playing a late slate afternoon slate only, and you just want to invest in that game, I think Terry McLaurin's your guy.
Okay. Yeah, looking at ownership, I don't think anybody else is worth noting. That's it. So, any other questions? Doesn't really look like it. All right, Ghost, summary. The slate is wild. I love and hate it. But here we go. Quarterback. Cash. If you got to play it. FanDuel, we're playing Josh Allen, right?
FanDuel playing Josh Allen everywhere.
All right. Cash quarterback on DK.
Dak Prescott.
All right. I will go with both of those. GPP quarterback, DraftKings. Let's go DraftKings for the rest of the show.
Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going Sam Darnold. Just because it gets me leverage off that chalky running back situation. I'm going to hope that Darnold just starts chucking the ball. All right. Running backs. High-end cash, low-end cash.
Rashad
there probably
White.
is no high-end
Yeah, I was
cash,
going to say
right?
there's no high-end cash. If you are doing that, Rashad White. Low-end cash will just, sorry to take them both away from you, but you got to play the duo of Pierre Strong and Jordan Mason at this point.
That's fine. I will echo that. Give me GPP, 2 of them.
I'm going to steal this one from you. I'm sorry. We're all in on Travis Etienne this week at the top of the grid.
Let me give you his new projection. 4 catches, 30 receiving yards, 64 rushing yards, and like 18 points, which is significantly higher than the market, but I don't think the market's corrected itself yet. I mean, actually, just looking at his props, his reception just went up a half. And yard, yeah, I did. Travis Etienne, let's do it. I'm in.
I dig it. So I will leave you our boy. I'm really hoping you mention him, which I'm sure you will. But at the top of the grid, I'm going to Etienne, and at the bottom of the grid, I'm going Chase Brown, man. I'm going Chase Brown, 4,600.
I will mention Jamal Williams for my cheap one. I think it's a guaranteed route to 15 touches and hopefully goal line carries, but you never know with be ready to be Taysom Hill. Wide receiver, high end cash.
CD Lamb.
I will go the same thing. The props for Justin Jefferson are very interesting. I just don't know if I can get behind Nick Mullins. Mid-tier cash.
Do I have a mid-tier cash? I gotta check. Oh, Olave.
DJ Moore, Olave, right?
Yeah, I went Olave.
All right, I like that as well. And then a cheap punt.
Cheap punt? Wide receiver?
Yeah, just in
for
general.
Cash or for tournament?
Just anything. Cheap punt.
Oh boy. Which one do I give?
DJ Chark, it would definitely be the guy in cash. His ownership's up to 15%. I'm seeing right now.
Yeah. Not too much of a punt, but I really want exposure to this game. Greg Dortch at 46.
Dortch.
If you want to get really weird with it, let me see how much percent I have of this guy before I give it out, because you know me, I never want to lie to you guys. Yes, I do have a ton. Josh Reynolds at 3,300 is the guy for me in tournaments.
Josh Reynolds. Okay, I'm going Ronnie Bell.
Still Jameson Williams, by the way.
Yeah, true. I don't trust it. Yeah, J-Mo
I don't
out,
either.
but I am going to roll with Ronnie Bell up top. I think CeeDee Lamb's is probably the best play on the board. Love DK Metcalf in tournaments at no ownership. Everybody's going to go to Chris Olave or DJ Moore right there if you can just get extra $200. I love DK Metcalf. We mentioned Mike Evans. I like D-Hop in cash. I think I'll play him in tournaments too at 6,100. Not bad. And really any other values? I'd rather just pay up at wide receiver in a different way than the field is. So those are kind of my guys. Tight end. I'm going to start with Evan Ingram. I think is the best tight end on the slate. Punt. All these guys in the 2,500 range. The model likes Noah Brown, kind of. Tommy Tremble pushed a little bit. Lucas Kroll for Denver. It's gross, man. It's gross. I don't even want to answer tight end. I'm going to say Evan Ingram.
In order of preference, Jake Ferguson, Evan Ingram, Trey McBride.
All right.
If I'm punting anyone, if I'm punting a tight end, it's Noah Gray.
Noah Gray.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it. See if we got any other questions. Julio Jones. God. All right. Are you going with a wide receiver or running back in the I think on DraftKings, you probably want to go those 2 punt running backs of Pierre Strong, Jordan Mason, and I think Zamir White would be my guy, right?
That's what I have. Yeah, I went 3 running backs. I went Zamir White, Mason, and Pierre Strong.
Yeah, and then it gets you those wide receivers we talked about with all the ownership and high price tags. That's what I would do, Tim, for sure. No love for Juwan. I don't know. I mean, I don't like chasing the points. So, yeah, if you want to keep riding Juwan Johnson, I won't talk you off of it. I feel like his best days are behind us. Favorite defense. In tournaments, I'm going to try to pair Aaron Jones with the Packers. And you can play the Chargers. It is Blaine Gabbert, 2,800. Though they're fucking crazy popular, though. What about the Broncos? Does Aiden O'Connell scare you?
No, he doesn't.
The Chargers D. I mean, did the Chargers D do anything recently? I don't know. Denver? I don't mind Denver. If everybody's going to play the Chargers, I'll play Denver. They're healthy. Yeah, Pats defense, Jets defense. That game's gross. All right, Ghost, good luck this week, buddy. Good luck to all you guys. Thank you for support. I'm really excited for the next couple of weeks. So those short playoff slates, I seem like we have a great success run or success history on those slates. So yeah, good luck to everybody this week, and we will catch you soon. Peace.